Okay. So we'll start off with when result and validations. So till now, we basically had we basically saw how execution of any database query or any external uh, interaction returned result, right? So you understood what result does, right? So first thing that we will take a
Yes.
look at is how does result work. Let us take a look at that. So I will start writing a test case, resources query user describe result dot js. Okay, unit test case. So here we basically tell describe a result, and we'll see how does result work. So let me go to a new browser, folktail result. Result. Okay, let's take a look at how result works. So it should wrap data, and it should wrap error. Okay, result is basically it holds data or it holds error, right? So I'll go in here, I'll create result equal to require folktail slash result. Let data equal to result dot okay, and let me give some data here. ID equal to 1, name equal to some user. So till here we are on the same page. What did we do
Yeah.
till here? We basically created a result object, and we are telling the result is okay, and to it I'm passing some data. That essentially means the operation is proper, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, if I basically do here, instead of okay, I basically give error. Here I can give error, some error, and that essentially means this operation has failed, and this basically represents the error result, correct?
Yeah.
Now let's take a look at how to utilize a result itself, right? So I'll basically, okay, you have this data. Now how do I extract the data? Because what is this object? Let me console.log. Let me put data over here. Let me also remove all the other queries that we are running. Okay, this is the only one. Awesome. So let me make sure cd functions npm run auto test. Okay, so if you look at it, right, it basically gave you this object, right? Now the whole thing is how do I utilize this? Okay, if it was just the same object, right? Let us say if the object was let user equal to this thing, it is easy to use, right? Now what can I basically do? I can basically tell user dot id equal to 1, or whatever I want I can do, because the data is there, I can access it. Let us say if user dot name equal to user 1, I can do some logic. Now, but here it is a result object. Now, how do I use the data within the result object? That is what we are going to cover right now.
Okay.
So, let us look at this. There is one thing called as pattern matching. Yes, this is what we have kind of used. Okay, let us look at this and see how it works. So I have this data, right? This data is nothing but result, correct?
Yeah.
Now if I do data dot match with and basically give okay or error, so if data is alright, this method will be invoked. You see this? This is a method.
Okay.
Okay, just for error, this is an anonymous
Callback.
method. Okay, I'll just
Okay.
cover one aspect. What are the different ways of creating a method? I think let's spend 5 minutes on that. I can basically create a method something like this: function add one, where it will take number one, first number, comma, second number. Okay, and you can basically do your operation here, return first number plus second number, right? This is one way of creating a function. Now the next way of creating a function is as a variable. You can basically do const or anything, const add 2 equal to, I can basically create a function like this: first number, comma, second number, and you can do return first number plus second number. Okay, now I can even make it little more concise: add 3 equal to first number, comma, yes, is second number. And here only, instead of return statement, I can basically do first number plus second number. If you don't, if you can directly return, right, you don't even have to specify return statement.
Okay. So, is this the second and third is a lambda expressions?
Correct. These are lambda expressions, and see, this is a lambda expression, to be very precise. This one is a syntactic way of defining a function differently.
Okay.
It's an arrow function.
Yes. Okay. These are the three different ways to define a function. Okay. Now if you look at this, okay, right, if you look at this, we are defining a function here. Now what is this guy? We need to talk about it. In JavaScript, how can I create an object? You see here, we have created, we have ID, name, and name is equal to some user, right? This is how we define an object in JavaScript. Now I can define a function also. Let us say I define a function add in user. Now this function can basically take a comma b and return a plus b. Sorry, not it should be outside this. You can do this. If you look at it, you have a user object. User object has ID, user object has name, user object has a property called add, and this add is nothing but a function which takes two arguments and return a plus b. So that essentially means I can do user dot add 1 comma 2 and it should work. See here, 3. Is this clear?
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, Sai, can you just help Harar out little bit on this?
Sure, definitely.
Okay. So the reason I explained you this is data dot match with, right? It basically takes an object. Let me just make this little more readable. This is an object. This object has a property called OK, a property called error. In the property OK, we basically give a function, and what do we return back? We return back this string OK and the value. In this case, we return back error. So let me do one thing. Let's first see the output. Response equal to this. Let us see what the response is, and then we will look at how it works. So I'm going to print the response. Okay. Let me just make sure value is it is because object. So let me do one thing. JSON dot stringify. So you look at this, it is basically telling okay, and the object is printed. So what essentially happened is, whenever the data is okay, that is everything is all right, the result will basically pass the value that was passed, that is this object, right? It will pass this object as a value for okay method. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Similarly, when result is an error, it will pass the error as value in the error message, in the error method. So let's look at this one again. So here, if you look at it, data.match, same thing I'll do. Actually, I could have done that also. Let response equal to this, and let's do console.log. Let's do expectation only, right? Expect, what are we expecting? Response dot to equal what should the string be? Okay, colon, what was the object that we passed? Some error, right? So here it will be not okay, it will be error colon the value over here. What is the value we are getting? That is the error, some error,
Yeah.
right? So this is what we are expecting. So let us see whether it passes. It passed. So if I remove this, it will fail. So it was basically telling it was expecting error, some error, but it was error some. So if I basically do error, some error, it should pass, right? So what that essentially means is response basically had this as the return value. And why did it return this one? Because we have basically told result dot error. So the data represents error condition, and since it represents error condition, whatever was passed to the error, result error, that was passed to errors value parameter. Once I got the value, I basically returned a string telling it was an error, and the error message is this, right? Similarly, if you go here, I will make this also test case pass. Instead of error, this will be okay, and here your object will be id equal to 1 comma name equal to some user. Let us see if this passes. Okay, it just needs proper.
I think we need to remove that string file.
Typo. It's a user typo.
Sorry?
User double S is there.
That is one thing, but I think there is more. It is since it's doing string
Double
comparison.
Yeah.
ID and name, we need to do this. So I'll basically do that here, and I'll change this here.
Yeah. Sure.
Only thing is there is one extra space here. Cool. Right? So till now, did you guys understand how to use result?
Yeah. And one small doubt here, when we pass it in result.ok, it is available globally everywhere, like when you import result in some other file. I mean, is it like this data what is getting saved in result.ok?
No. So if you basically do result.ok and you pass this data to some other function, even in that function you can do data.match with, because data is a result object.
Oh.
Was that your question? Sai, did I answer your question?
Yeah, got it. Clear.
Okay. Now let us look at, see, the whole problem here is this is too verbose. If you look at it, we were talking about functional programming concepts, right? Using functional programming concepts, but here we are using objects, right? So kind of functional programming concept is kind of taking a back seat. So in order to handle this, right, what we did is we created a function called when result. So I'll basically describe when result. Now when result is a function that we have written internally. It basically does the same thing what this guy does, but in little more functional way. Okay, so let's basically look at this. What I will do is I'll just copy paste this entire thing again. It should wrap error, it should wrap data, or it will basically tell it should handle result okay, and it should handle result error. Okay, so now what we will do is instead of this, I'll remove this. Here I will include const when result equal to require lib. Okay, now we have this when result function, and what we can do over here is, here I will just comment this out right now. So when result essentially takes two methods, like how this guy takes two methods. Okay, the first method is success method, and the second method is the error method. So here it will be, let's say, user, and here it will be error. Okay, and it always returns a promise back. So it's an async method, so I'll just make this async. Async is not here, it is basically here. Now this when result, it will basically take the actual data. What was this data? Do you remember what the data is? Data is a result object, right? So now I will basically do console.log user. Let us look at what happens here, and obviously, as you guys expect, user data should get printed here. You see this? And similarly in the other case, instead of here, it will basically give the error, and we will print error over here. So it needs to be async, so I'll make this async. So here it is printed error, and in the first case it printed the data. So till now, is it clear what happened?
Yeah.
Error, is it clear from your end?
Yes, yes.
Now let's look at what does this response contain. Console.log response undefined. So I will basically return, what did we return in previous case? We did this, right? I will return the same thing here also. Okay, instead of value, this will be user, and here I will return the same thing. Instead of value, this will be error. And I can err or okay, here it is taken care, response is some error, so I'll uncomment this so that these test cases pass. Good. So only here it didn't pass, that is because I didn't return anything there. So I'll just copy this, so this should be good. So I'll stop here. You guys have to tell me if you guys have any doubts till now.
Okay. In that response equal to await when result, the first function is taking parameter as user.
Correct.
And how that function is executing user when it is okay and error when it is error, like.
So you remember how we did this?
Yeah.
It basically internally uses the same thing.
Acha, okay.
What it is basically telling is, it internally, if you go into when result, right? Sorry, not this. It basically does the same thing, match with. Only thing additional it does is, instead of taking the object, it basically tells I take two methods. This guy takes object, this guy takes two methods. First method will be success method, second method will be failure method. Whenever it is successful, the first method is called. Whenever it is failure, the second method is called.
Okay.
Is this clear?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, there is one other thing that we can do. Let us say, if you're not handling your error, right, you could actually eliminate that error condition. You can remove this. If you only want to handle success criteria, then let me put it in this case. In this case, there is an error, right? So here the question is, what do you want to do with this error? Are you going to do anything with this error or not? If you're not doing anything with the error, you can actually remove this error code. You can only have the success code telling that excuse me, guys, just give me a second, I'll just get some water. Okay. So if I remove the error code, right, let us see what happens over here. So if you look at it, it basically told it was expecting error, some error. Since I removed the code, the string formatting does not happen. But what is the response that we have got? The same error message that we created, right? The same error message is propagated back into response.
Yeah.
Is it clear? What happened?
Yes.
Why was it propagated back? We will talk about that in a second. But the whole point is, whenever we don't basically have error message, right, or we don't handle the error scenario, then the same error object is propagated back in the return type. It basically returns the same error message. It is telling that, okay, error, no one told me how to handle this, so I'm basically returning back the same object.
Okay.
Okay, anyways, just hold on for some time. I think things will become a little more clearer. So this is about when result. Okay, now what we will do is, we will talk little bit about validation. I will basically go to API, create user API. What are the details needed in create user? Name, email and password, right? So let me go here and I will create a folder. This will be validators. Okay, then I'll create one thing called create user validation.js. Okay, so let me just rename this. Okay, so let me just open one more project just to get okay. Now this. So just copying the code. So we are basically, in order to validate, right? We have a simple validation framework that we have built using which we validate. Okay. So how does this validation framework work? So let us look at that. Create user validation. I'm basically telling name, email and password is there, right? So I will create an object of this and pass it to validator. So I will basically invoke this create user validation equal to require validators. It is yes, and create user validation. So this create user validation, it basically takes const validation result equal to wage create user dot validation dot validate. It takes an object, and in that object it basically it expects all the parameters that you want to validate.
Okay.
Right, and this guy will give you the validation result. Okay, so here what have we passed here? It is an object which basically contains name, email and password, right?
Yeah.
Error, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's look at rule. How does rule work? So we can define a rule where we are telling rule is an object where we can specify what will the object over here, the data that was passed, what will it contain? Say for example, what does our data contain? Name, email and password. So we already have name, we have password, we have email. I'll remove mobile. So I'll just tell you how does it exactly work. So I'll just cut this. You have name, correct? So we are basically telling name needs to have a validation. So we'll create an array, and within the array you can create multiple subarray. So here you can basically tell what kind of validation do you want for name. So not empty is a validation, correct?
Yeah.
If it is empty, what is the message? Name is mandatory. Okay, that's it. Now why do we want array of array? We will come to that. Now let's go to email, right? What should email validation contain? Again, it should not be empty, correct? So if email is empty, email is mandatory. Now we also need to check, see, I can fill in any random data in email and send, right? It will not help if it is not a valid email. So I can basically create one more validation. I can add one more validation telling it needs to be a email. Then if it is not an email, email, it's not a valid email. Okay, we can do this. So you can basically add multiple such validations for each object or each property in the data, right?
Okay.
Similarly, password, what will password be? Same thing, right? It should be
Not empty. Yeah.
not empty, right? So I'll just copy this password is mandatory, right? So let us basically try this out. Now I will not that essentially means I need to create, you have created the migration scripts, right? Function create as such. Sorry. Okay. Run migration dev cannot be implemented. Foreign key constraint cannot be implemented. What was the problem here? So I'll connect to local system Postgres localhost. What is the configuration root? Password is root and databases okay, schemas public tables user. Let me delete this. Let me delete user and sequelize metadata. Okay, let me run the migration again. Okay, you have created user and address, correct? Now let me start the API. How do I start the API?
Start API dot dev. Yeah.
Right. Okay, API is started. I'll create a Postman. I'll open Postman and localhost port number 3000. Okay. Okay. So I'll basically do local. This will be post, right? HTTP localhost :3000 okay /users, and I basically gave in the body raw name will be user1, email will be a@a.com, password will be password. Okay, let me post it and see if it is successful. Unhandle error, we'll take a look at what the issue is. Validation name cannot be null. Validation error, where is this guy? Sequelize user.email cannot be null. Why is it null? What does it expect? Create user API body email is there, right? Why was it null? I'll comment this out. Password cannot be null. Have you checked in the latest code?
Yeah, I've checked in the latest.
Detail.
Which, yeah.
User is there, right? Request dot body here. Let me look at the log. Tail logs. Today is 22nd. Let's look at this. Password cannot be null. And here request to create user. So no data is come. The data has not come. Why hasn't the data come? Because header,
It is text. I think you put it as text instead of JSON.
Correct. Okay, so this passed. Now let us make sure we will check this validation. So what is the validation over here? We saw the validation, right? You remember the validation. Name should not be empty, email should not be empty, password should not be empty, correct?
Yeah.
Now what I can basically do here is, when result, okay, so I'll basically add this when result here, right? What does when result take?
It takes two functions.
Correct. It takes two functions and it will also take response.
A response,
That is whatever the thing is, data. So validation result. If it is successful, it will execute one function, right?
Yeah.
If it is successful, it executes this function, first function. And in this first function, I can basically execute this db.execute.
Okay.
So what did we do? We basically told if the validation result is successful, right? So again, this create user validation dot validate, this will also will return a result object. If this one is successful, then execute this function first method. Else what happens?
Else the second function.
What if I don't give the second function?
And then it will get passed to the, it will be, the error gets passed down to the response in the
Correct.
first function.
So whatever error was here, it will get passed to this guy. Okay. So now what we have done is we have told when result, whenever the result is successful, execute this method and return the data back. Whenever the validation result is failure, don't execute this method and return that error message back as it is. So let us look at what happens right now. Now let us say name I didn't give. Okay, I send. Here what did it give? It basically told status validation false, error type is validation, message name is mandatory, right? Now let us say I basically gave name user2, failed to create user. Let us look at what the problem is. I think email is mandatory, is it? Unique field constraints, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll basically change this email also to a2@a2.com. So now this passed, right? So in success case, it basically returned the data in the database. In failure case, it basically returned the validation error message.
Yeah.
So this both is handled using this simple piece of code when we are telling when the result is successful, execute this. And what does this return? db.execute, what does it return?
This returns a result again.
Correct. It returns a result object, right? And when there is a validation failure, what does this when result return?
Result error.
It will return a result object only, but it represents the validation error, correct? In both the cases, the response is nothing but a result object, and to the respond method, I will anyways pass the result object. So if it is successful, it will use this method, this message, and if it is failure, it will use this message.
Okay.
Are we clear? So right now,
Yes.
okay, it didn't use that message because there was a validation. That's why it basically used this. But if it is successful, it will basically give, let's say, user
Hello.
3. Then it basically uses successfully created user. Status is true. Entity, it basically created the user, and this is the user detail. And let us say if I basically give a wrong email, if I just give this, it basically tells it is not valid.
How do you handle any errors from SQLize, like it is throwing unique email and all?
That we'll have to see. Right now we are not handled it. It's a good question. We need to figure out how to handle that.
Okay.
But till now, are we clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let us make this little more what do you call complicated. So here, instead of just password, I'll also have something called confirm password. Okay. Now password and confirm password should match. So the whole point is this framework is extremely extensible. So what we can essentially do is I can basically write confirm password, and I actually don't have any pre-built method to actually do the confirmation of the password. So what I can do is, in this child array, it actually takes a method. This is essentially nothing but a method that we have written. So if you go to not empty, it is nothing but a method that we have written. You don't have to worry about what it does and how it does and all, but it is nothing but a method. So we can actually pass a method. Only thing is this method should return true or false. Okay. And this method takes two arguments. First one is the value of the property. Second one is the object itself. So now what I can do is I can basically tell return if the value equal to object dot password. If this is the case, then what happens? The second parameter in the array is nothing but the error message. Confirmation password confirmation confirm password did not match. Okay. Sorry, spelling is did not match. So let us basically run this and see. You see, confirm password does not match and the email is not valid. Let me basically make the email valid, a4@a.com. Now it will basically tell confirm password did not match. If I basically give password here, it basically here something went wrong. Password confirm password object.password. Let me just put a console log just to make sure value comma object. So let us just see what we get. Value is undefined. And the value is undefined because in this guy I didn't take confirm password. Confirm password, and I need to pass this guy to this one. If that happens, you see it was successful. So essentially what I wanted to demonstrate over here is you can extend anything that you want in the validation. Okay, your validation can be extremely complex as you want. It's as simple as creating a method and overriding the method. Only thing that it expects is the method should take two parameters. The first parameter is the actual value of the key, whatever property we are trying to validate. And the second parameter is nothing but the actual data that was passed.
Okay.
So this way you can basically match these two things and do any complicated validation that you want. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we will stop till here today. So what we will have to do is we will have to write validation for all the APIs that we have created. And then subsequently we will look at how do we handle, in the next session we will look at compose and curry. These are two important aspects. And then we will look at how to write test cases for our APIs.
Okay.
Then after test cases for API, the final thing will be test cases for query. So this will basically end the thing. So compose and curry we will finish tomorrow, and tomorrow we will try and write this API test case as well, and day after we will close with writing the query test case.
Okay.
Okay. Do you guys have any doubts till now?
No.
No.
Okay. Anyways, I've recorded this. I will send you the recording.